Hi guys, so this first video is review, and if you are in groups 1 or 2, we are going to be watching this in class, so don't worry about your Edpuzzle. So if you are in group 1, I want you to start here. Alright, so our first step, if there is distributive property, we should distribute. Then we're going to group variables on the left and numbers on the right. And keep in mind, if you cross the middle line, you change the sign. Step number 3, write simplified equation. And step 4 is to divide. Alright, so let's take at this day 1, group 1 review. So let's start with number 1. So I have no parentheses, so I'm not going to be distributing here. And I'm going to label letters and numbers. Let's take care of letters first. So I look on the left and I see negative 4n. Good. Now I look on the right and I see 7n, but I'm crossing the line to move it over. So when I cross the line, I change the sign. All right. So as far as numbers go, I see this positive 4. Good. And then there's another 4 on the other side. But again, if I'm crossing the line, I need to change the sign. All right. Now we go ahead and simplify. So in my calculator, negative 4 minus 7 is negative 11n. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to solve it. And I get 0. So now I have my simplified equation. My last step is to divide. All right, what happens with my two 11s? They cancel. I'm left with n. And on my right side, I solve. And in my calculator, I should get 0. All right, let's do the same thing for the next one. So I'm going to start by labeling letters and numbers. All right, so I see letters, I see a 1r, and I see a negative 5r. But that negative 5r was on the other side, so if I cross the line, I change the sign. All right, now we're going to do the same thing for numbers. I have an 8 on this side. Then I have a positive 7 and a negative 5, but those two cross the line. So I'm going to change those signs. So that's the biggest step that people seem to be forgetting, is that changing of the signs. So super important there. All right, let's go ahead and simplify our equation. 1 plus 5 is 6r. And then on this side, I'm going to go ahead and solve. 8 minus 7 plus 5 is 6. Last step. All right, these cancel. I'm left with r equals. I solve my right side, and I get 1. So if you are in group 1, you can pause the video here. We will continue with group 2 when you get to group 2. If you are in group 2, you may start now at 4 minutes and 3 seconds. All right, so group 2, we now have the distributive property involved. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend our line. All right, so whenever I see parentheses, I need to take care of those first. So I'm going to ignore everything else right now, and I'm only going to worry about those parentheses. All right, so for this one, I have negative 3 goes with my 1, and negative 3 goes with my negative 9r. Okay, let's simplify that. Alright, so that took care of what was in the box. But I can't forget about the things that weren't in the box, like this -1. That has to get brought down. I can't forget about the 21 or the 2r. So I noticed a lot of us on the quiz on Friday, we knew how to multiply, but then we were forgetting about these other things. Alright, so now it's the same thing that we were doing in group 1. My letters and numbers. So for letters, I see 2r on this side, so my sign stays the same. And I see 27r on the other side, so I need to change my sign. Same thing with numbers, -3. It's on this side, -1 on this side. 21 is on the other side, so I'm going to change to a negative. Alright, let's simplify. -27r plus 2r is -25r. And this side I do the same thing. I solve, and I also get -25. Last step. And I get r equals negative. Divided by a negative is a +1. Alright, let's try it again. So this time I have a 3 times a 5 plus a 3 times an x. I simplify that. I have 15 plus 3x. Now I can't forget about the things that I didn't touch. So I didn't touch this 8. So that's going to come down. I didn't touch that 1. I bring it down. Same thing with the -8x. Now I have my equation. I'm ready to put them in my appropriate sides. So for letters, I have 3x, -8x, but that was on the other side, so I need to change the sign. For my numbers, I have 1, same side. I have 8 and 15. Those were on my other side, so I'm going to change and change. Alright, I simplify. 3 plus 8 is 11x. -15, -8, and +1. That gets me -22. I divide. And that gets me x equals -2. Alright, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them at the end of the video.